You know, when it comes to catching walleyes, especially early in the year, but this can apply throughout the open water season, it's tough to beat jigs and soft plastics. Now, some of you, if you don't have confidence with soft plastics and you have a lot of confidence with jigs and minnows, I'm going to give you a few tips here and a few tricks here to maybe help you get confidence with using soft plastics. Now, the biggest thing with soft plastics, they're durable. You can change the profile, you can change the size, you can change the color. In some cases, you can even change the scent. And you can cover water, and you don't have to worry about rebaiting so much, okay? The other thing is you get sometimes better water displacement and better vibration and better action out of soft plastics versus any type of live bait, especially if you have to double hook a minnow, okay? And so a couple of things here to point out. So when it comes to using soft plastics, one thing that I would recommend as a general rule of thumb is if you're using, say, an 1/8 ounce jig and a minnow, and that's what you're getting bit on, go heavier, go bigger with your jig head when you're using soft plastics. So if you're using an 1/8 ounce with live bait, don't be afraid to use a 1/4 ounce when you're using soft plastics. And so upsize the jig weight, because basically when you're using a soft plastic, you're going to get a lot more buoyancy and you get a lot more drag and lift on the bait. And so a lot of times you do have to use a little bit bigger jig to find the same bottom or to fish the same depth at the same speed. Now the other thing is you can fish these a lot of different ways. I mean, it's as simple as just casting and reeling slow and making sporadic bottom contact. You can cast and reel with plastics, you can twitch it, you can hop it, you can jig it. So I'll go over a couple of different profiles or actions that I really like, especially early in the year. Now, when I'm dragging, I'll do this a lot early in the year, especially when I'm just casting the jig out, dragging it back, where I might drag it back 2, 3, 4 feet at a time, sliding it back, maybe making some sporadic bottom contact. When I'm dragging or just doing a slow roll or a slow reel, I really like to use a plastic that's got a paddle tail. And so this here is the eye candy paddle shed. See how stretchy that is, very durable, phenomenal action, especially at slow speeds. And so for dragging, I like to use a little bit of a paddle tail, just give a little bit of vibration, a little bit of action. But that's not the only way that you can fish these, okay? The other thing that I like to do is if I'm twitching, if I'm hopping, if I'm popping it, and giving that lure a little bit of snap, especially if I'm doing this midsummer on, where I'm basically just popping that jig, give a little bit of action. That's when a lot of times I'm just using just a straight up minnow tail here. Where you see here, there's just got a small little tail here where there's no paddle on the end of it, and basically you're just getting that tail to flop and flutter as you're popping it or working it. And so minnow profile, paddle profile, probably the two profiles that I'm using the most. You know, then obviously you've got your traditional 3, 3.5, 4 inch twister tails as well that work really well. Now, one little trick when you're using this material here, like this eye candy here, it's what's called an elastic plastic, where it's very stretchy and very durable, is that when you hook it on, you do have to hook it on a little bit differently, in the sense you have to shove it up. And one little trick is just to take it and just snap it, just to get that soft plastic to cinch up to that lead. And the other thing you can do with these baits is just take some super glue. I like to use the type with the brush, and just slide a little bit of that on your shank of your hook. When you cinch that plastic up, that'll really keep it secure here, where it just makes it a lot more durable. And that's the whole deal with this, is durability, efficiency. You're going to be able to catch several fish on this before you have to worry about changing anything or replacing anything.